For a single leg body weight hip thrust with a pulse, you're going to start in a normal hip thrust position. So take some kind of a bench that's like 12 to 14 inches high and place it behind you. You want your lower shoulder blades to be hinging on that bench. So if you don't have a bench, you could use like the edge of a chair that's fairly sturdy. You could use a couch. Just a regular weight bench, even though they are usually a little bit higher. Just make sure that whatever you're hinging off of, that the lower part of your shoulder blades is the part that's hinging. So from here, you're going to get almost in your normal hip thrust position. So feet are going to actually be in close together. That way you don't fall over, so you're not going to be wide. Instead, feet together. Lift one leg up. Typically, I find it's easier just to have this leg held up off of the floor and then go through your hip thrust. If you can't do it that way, you can always cross over and make a figure four, but you gotta have bendy hips for that, and it is a little bit kind of awkward. So either way is fine. So you're lifting one leg up, you're gonna go into your single leg hip thrust position. So for single leg hip thrust, you're gonna push through your entire foot, and when you lift, notice that the my shin is almost perpendicular with the floor. You don't want your leg to be too far away. That's gonna put too much stress on the hamstrings, and if it's too far back, it's a lot of stress on the quad. So just about perpendicular is good. The other thing is that when you lift, your rib cage should be held slightly down. So you don't want to arch your back over the bench like this. Instead, you want to keep your abs engaged, keep those ribs tucked a little bit. But with a single leg hip thrust, like regular hip thrust, you would usually stop here. Single leg hip thrust, you can actually lift slightly higher and have a little bit more flare just to get more glute engagement. So all of that said, you're going to do your hip thrust, normal single leg hip thrust. Once you get to the top, you're going to have a slight relaxation point and then come up again and come back down. So it'll look like this. Like you have a little pulse at the top. Dun, dun. And try your best. I know that sometimes I tend to do it, but try not to drop your hips too far down. You don't want it to turn into like a 1 1/4 rep or 1 1/2 rep where you're like doing this. It's not that much of a change. It's actually just up, pulse. Up, pulse. You do all of your reps on your weaker side and then repeat on your opposite side.